don't say that you don't have enough time to study. You have exactly same amount of hours per day that were given to you. Success consists of going from failure to failure but without loss of enthusiasm. Hey everyone, welcome back to my class. Ivattina session alli I am going to talk about how to prepare for examination. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಹವರ್ಸ್ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಶೇರ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು. So once again welcoming you all for today's session. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So examination. Examination is tension. Examination is curiosity. Examination is something very different for everybody. You might think what different it is. Every year you're writing examination, but this year you're going to face the public examination, and your examination will start from 21st of June. So according to the current notification or the messages or the schedule which has been allotted for the examination, your examination will start from 21st of June. So 21st of June ge ivattindanu count madidru you have 40 days. You have 40 days. So in this 40 days, let us remove 10 days and keep 30 days for your complete science examination preparation. Don't think that you don't need to study other subjects. You are also going to study the other subject. You ಬೇರೆ subject ಅನ್ನು ಓದ್ತಾ science ಅನ್ನು ಕೂಡ complete ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So that strategy you have to make in 30 days of time. So then, which are the lessons you are going to study on each day? So what should be the number of days allotted to one particular lesson? How many hours that you can dedicate for one lesson? All these things I'm going to discuss in today's session along with the marks allotment, deleted topics, etc. Fine. So now one simple thing which you all have to think is science is a very easiest subject. Science is easy. When you say this to your mind, your brain works very easily. Otherwise, definitely, when you think that science is difficult, oh, I cannot understand this. Definitely, if you are trying to understand that also, you feel it is difficult. So remove such concepts from your mind. Science is easy. Science is easiest subject. Understand the topics and you can just write whatever you know. Okay? So now focusing towards the subject. So in the biology, you have totally 6 lessons. So totally you have 6 lessons in the biology. So then starting with the life process lesson. Life process lesson in the shuru madodadre, for life process lesson you have to dedicate 2 days. 2 days you have to dedicate for life process lesson. And you know, every year from the life process lesson they used to ask question based on the respiration concept, but this year respiration and the nutrition concepts is entirely deleted. So you need to only focus on transportation and the excretion part. Transportation in human beings and plants, excretion in human beings and plants. So very easy, very less topic. So completely within a day also you can complete, but I am saying you to dedicate 2 days. So and also you have to dedicate 4 hours of time to study this lesson. Each day 2 hours dedicate and study. And then ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ 2 hours ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದೋಕ್ಕೆ it's impossible. So even me, I cannot myself sit for continuously 2 hours and study, because see, our brain need rest. Every 40 minutes, after every 40 minutes you have to give a break. 40 minutes ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಸೊ 2 hours ಓದ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ 2 breaks ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 2 breaksನ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ 2 hoursನ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2 daysನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಲೆಸನನ್ನು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಒಂದಿನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿನ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೇನ್ from this lesson? If you ask me, see, from the life process lesson you will get totally 5 to 6 mark. Okay, From life process lesson, you will get 5 to 6 marks. So this marks is allotted on based on the KSEEB model question papers. So Karnataka Secondary Educational Examination Board has released certain model question papers for each and every subject. Okay, so ಆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎರಡೂ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂದ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 5 and maximum 6 marks from the lesson life process. Okay, so now moving to control and coordination. Control and coordination entire chapter is retained. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಲೆಸನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Hope you all have already done with the hormones concept, because in the previous sessions I have already uploaded a video which is based on the lesson control and coordination, where I have told you about the hormones, plant hormones and animal hormones. Very easy topic. Okay, so for this particular lesson also you allot to 2 days, but the number of hours for this lesson should be 6 hours. So for this lesson you have to give minimum 6 hours of time to study. Why? Because from this lesson you may get a question from the reflex arc, reflex action, human brain, that means the parts of the human brain and its functions, human brain diagram, then moving to the plant hormones, okay, and animal hormones. You have to learn all the 4 plant hormones as well as the animal hormones and its functions you have to know, and growth dependent movement, growth independent movement, so that is we call it as tropic movements. So all these concepts are very important from this lesson. To study all the concept, exactly 2 days is more than enough, because most of the concepts are very easy. Okay, so allot 3 hours per day, again 40 minutes. After that you have to take a break, and 3 hours you can split 1.5 hours in the morning and 1.5 hours in the evening. Okay, so but totally 3 hours per day you have to dedicate to study this lesson, and within 2 days of time you can completely study this lesson. So this is all about control and coordination. So the number of marks allotted for this particular lesson will be 4 to 6. In the examination they will ask the question for 4 mark to 6 mark from the lesson control and coordination. Okay, so now moving to next lesson, how do organisms reproduce? How do organisms reproduce is again from this lesson. Asexual reproduction is completely deleted. You need to study only the sexual reproduction part, sexual reproduction in the flower and the sexual reproduction in the human beings. So for this lesson also I have already uploaded many videos, you can check out in the playlist. How do organisms reproduce? From this lesson they may ask about the placenta, they may ask about the fertilization, contraception methods, and what happens when egg is fertilized, what happens when egg is not fertilized. All such questions will be given more importance from this lesson. Okay, so for the lesson how do organisms reproduce also, you have to allot 2 days and 6 hours. So 3 hours per day, 1.5 hour in the morning and 1.5 in the evening you can allot. So in such way you can complete how do organisms reproduce lesson. And for this lesson 5 marks is allotted in the examination. Both the papers I have been cross-checked. In both the papers they have asked 5 marks weightage questions. Totally 5 marks you will get when you study this lesson. Okay, so now moving to the next lesson, that is heredity and evolution. So when I talk about heredity and evolution, please everybody have a positive vibes about this particular lesson. You all think that you may get very difficult questions from this lesson. This year, as you all know, that the number of application questions will be asked very less. Maximum you may get 5 to 6 marks of application level question. Even though if they ask from this lesson, so it is not at all difficult. Focus to study heredity and evolution. You know, some of the concepts are frequently asked from this lesson. So such concepts may be homologous organs, analogous organs, or the mechanism of evolution, fossils, and then they also ask about relation between the reptiles and birds, monohybrid checkerboard, dihybrid checkerboard. All these concepts are frequently asked from this lesson, and how the sex determination has been done. These concepts are frequently asked. So such concepts you study the first day, and the second day you give more importance for some of the concept that you think that it will be included for the application level questions. So I will also provide few questions in the Telegram group for this lesson, so which might be helpful for you for your board examination preparation. Okay, so for this lesson, so you have to allot 2 days, you have to dedicate 2 complete days for heredity and evolution lesson, and also again you have to dedicate 6 hours of time. So heredity and evolution, 2 days, 6 hours completely you have to dedicate. So from this lesson you may expect 7 to 8 mark. 7 to 8 mark weightage is more for this lesson. Okay, heredity and evolution weightage is more, so you may expect 7 marks to 8 marks questions from the lesson heredity and evolution. And here none of the concepts is deleted, all the concepts are included for the examination. Okay, so now moving to our environment. Our environment, see, most of the concepts are deleted, so only the concept which you have to study for the examination is the ozone and also biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Those concepts you have to study. Okay, so to study this lesson, 1 day is enough. So 1 day, so I don't think that you need 2 hours also. So let me give 2 hours, no problem. So within an hour you can complete. So 2 hours you can take. Okay, within 1 day, within 1 hour you can complete. But allot 2 hours if you are studying for the first time. Okay, so 1 day, 1 hour maximum is enough for this. So from this lesson you will get only 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks will be given for this lesson in your examination. And in biology, the last lesson is the sustainable management of natural resources. So for the sustainable management of natural resources also, 1 day is more than enough. So 1 day, 2 hours is more than enough to study this lesson, and 3 marks will be given for this lesson. Totally 3 marks will be allotted for the lesson sustainable management of natural resources. Okay, so life process you can allot 2 days. So for life process you have to dedicate 2 days of time, 4 hours. Okay, but after 40 minutes you have to give a break. That is most important to keep the concepts in your mind and to have some freshness to study the next concepts. Okay, you have to follow the same for rest of the lesson on rest of the days. So this is all about biology. So biology very easy, only you may feel here little bit difficult, but you have to remove that. Okay, you have to remove that conceptual thing in your mind that heredity and evolution is difficult. I will also provide, as I told, I will provide some questions in the Telegram group for this particular lesson. Okay, so this is all about the biology. So to study biology, now how many days you are utilizing? See, first you are utilizing 2 plus 2 4 to 6 plus 2 8 and plus 2 10. So totally 10 days you are dedicating to study the biology. If you are studying for the first time also, you can complete within 10 days. Okay, you can complete within 10 days. If you are already studied, only if you are going to revise, definitely you can cut out the number of hours which is been allotted here, and you can utilize the same hour to study the other subject. Okay, so now let me tell you about the chemistry. So now when we look at the chemistry part, you have totally 4 lessons for your final examination. The first lesson, that is chemical reactions and equation, is completely deleted. So moving to the next lesson, acids, bases and salts, which is there for your examination. Acids, bases and salts lesson alli you need to skip the salts part. Salts part ನಿಮ್ಮ examination ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Usually ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ examination ಅಲ್ಲಿ they used to ask the question from the part called salts. So salts ಇಂದ questions ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. Uses of baking soda ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, washing soda, plaster of Paris. Those questions were frequently asked. But this year they have removed the salts part. You have to study only about the acids and bases. Okay, so to study this complete acids and bases concept, you need to take 2 days of time. So 2 days of time, and 4 hours of time is more than enough to study acids, bases and salts lesson. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ frequent ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳುವಂತ question, the pH values questions they will ask. What happen when acid reacts with a base? What happen when acid react with the metal? Or what happens when metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate react with the acid and base? So all such questions are asked. So I sincerely request all of you to go through the textbook. You have to go through all the activities from the textbook. Activities are very important in this lesson. Okay, acids, bases and salts, all the activities you have to go through in your textbook and read each and every corner of textbook for gaining full marks from the lesson acids and bases. Okay, acids and bases, one complete day you study from the textbook and one complete day you study from the notes which you have. Simultaneously you have the similar points in both the cases, but when you go through the textbook it will be more benefit for you. Okay, 2 days is more than enough to study acids and bases. I'm repeating once again, salts concept is not included for the lesson. 4 hours, 2 hours per day you dedicate to study this lesson. Okay, and the marks which you obtain for this lesson is 5 to 6 marks in your examination. So minimum 5 marks, maximum 6 marks you will obtain if you study complete this lesson, acids, bases and salts. Okay, so now moving to high priority lesson, metals and non-metals. So metals and non-metals is considered as high priority lesson. Even this lesson and carbon and its compounds is given more priority in chemistry. So metals and non-metals is little bit a lengthy lesson. Okay, you have more concepts to study from this lesson. So for example, you have to study about the physical properties of metal, chemical properties of metal, and the metals which come under low reactivity series, middle reactivity series, high reactivity series, electrolytic refining of copper, so alloys, corrosion, so many things are there. So if you have to study all the concepts in a proper way, you need minimum 3 days of time. For metals and non-metals, you need minimum 3 days of time. Okay, so each day minimum 2.5 hours if you dedicate also, you can complete this lesson. Okay, each day minimum 2.5 hours. So after 40 minutes you have to give break. You can shuffle this 2.5 hours for morning and evening also. Okay, if you cannot study completely at a time. So that is most important. So 3 days you have to fix for the lesson metals and non-metals. Okay, so 2.5 hours per day. So totally you get 7.5 hours to study this entire lesson. It's more than enough. Okay, so I also insist you to go through all the activities from metals and non-metals from the textbook. Okay, so for this lesson you will be allotted 8 marks. Okay, so 8 marks questions will be asked from the lesson metals and non-metals in your examination. Okay, so moving to now periodic classification of elements. It is such a easy concept. You know, all the laws you have to study first. Periodic classification, Dauber-Inner triad law, Newland's law of octaves, Mendeleev periodic law, modern periodic law. If you study this, 4 laws will be completed. Next, you have to study the achievements, limitations of Mendel, and you also have to know the meaning of Dauber-Inner triad law. You may get an application question there. Okay, and you also have to know the limitations of Newland's law of octaves periodic table. Okay, you have to know about the periodic table. See, once again I tell you, when I say periodic table, you should know how to determine the elements. So that means which element is present in which period, which it is present in which group. You have to know that. Determining the elements is very important. Its position is, you have to know the position of it. Okay, that is most important. And you also have to know the atomic radius. Okay, metallic property, non-metallic property, which they may also ask as electronegativity or electropositivity. These many concepts, if you know, this lesson is completed. So to study this concept, minimum 2 days is enough. Minimum 2 days. See, from metals and non-metals and periodic classification of elements, all the concepts are retained. Okay, so there is no concept which is being deleted from this lesson. All the concepts you must study. So 2 days is enough for the lesson periodic classification of elements. So 4 hours is more than enough to study this lesson. 4 hours. So 4 hours you can split 2 hours per day. Okay, for this lesson minimum 4 mark, maximum 5 marks you will get. Minimum 4 mark, maximum 5 marks you will get for this lesson in your examination. Okay, so moving to the last lesson of the chemistry, carbon and its compounds. It's an again it's an high priority lesson. Carbon and its compounds. From this lesson this year, properties of ethanol and properties of ethanoic acid is deleted. Usually the questions were asked from that particular area. So what do we say, that application level questions were asked from that particular area every year. So this year that concept is not there. Properties is not there. Okay. You must study the properties of carbon. Okay. And you must also know the saturated hydrocarbons, unsaturated hydrocarbons. Recently I have also uploaded target 7 on 7 for this lesson. So how to study? If you follow that video, it's more than enough you to get full marks. Okay. So for carbon and its compounds, again you allot 3 days because you have to practice the structural formula, molecular formula, electron dot structural formula. So you have to allot 3 days. 3 days, 6 hours of time to study this lesson is more than enough. In your examination, totally 7 marks you get for this lesson. 7 marks will be allotted for the lesson carbon and its compounds. Okay, only properties of ethanol and ethanoic acid is not there. Rest all the concepts are there for your examination. So 3 days, 2 hours per day, 6 hours for 3 days, completely you have to dedicate for this lesson. Okay, so this is all about the chemistry. So if you study in such a way, definitely you have to determine, you have to sit properly and you have to focus and study. Definitely you will get 25 marks. If you study this, you will get 25 mark. I'm telling you, 25 mark. And when I talk about diagrams, reaction of zinc with the dilute sulfuric acid, acid solution in the water conducts electricity, and testing the salt solution, and you have to also practice electrolytic refining of copper, action of steam on metal. So these many diagrams are very important from the chemistry part. Okay, I request all of you to follow this method. Definitely you will get success. Okay, so now the last part is physics. So now when we look at the physics part, human eye and a colorful world, complete lesson is been deleted. See, from this 4 lessons you will get 28 mark. I repeat once again, from this 4 lesson you will be getting 28 mark. So how the marks will be distributed, I'll tell you. So before that, as magnetic effect of electric current is a lengthier lesson, so you can take 3 days of time to study this lesson. 3 days, 6 hours for this lesson. You can allot 3 days, that means 6 hours of time to study this entire lesson called magnetic effect of electric current. And the number of marks which will be allotted in the examination is, you may get 7 to 8 marks. When you study this lesson, you get 7 to 8 marks in your examination. Okay, so it's a high priority lesson. So next, moving to electricity. So for electricity lesson also, you have to give 3 days of time and 6 hours of time. 3 days and 6 hours. And the marks allotted for this lesson is 9 to 10. 9 to 10 marks is been allotted for this lesson. Okay, so moving to next lesson, light reflection and refraction. ಈ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಟೋಟಲಿ ನೀವು 3 ಡೇಸನ್ನು ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. You need 3 complete days to study this lesson, and also you have to allot 6 complete hours to study this lesson. So 3 days, 6 complete hours na ee lesson anna study ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So this is a light, reflection and refraction lesson. So ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ 8 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, 8 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಈ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. So now moving to the last lesson of the physics, sources of energy. See, sources of energy ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Even though ಆ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. It is been asked in the model question papers and even in the other district question papers as well. So what I suggest is, read completely the sources of energy lesson. Okay, so sources of energy ನ ಒಂದು ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮುಗಿಸಬಹುದು. So 1 day is enough to complete the sources of energy lesson, and minimum 2 hours is enough. 2 hours is enough to study this lesson, and the marks allotted for this lesson is 3 mark. ಸೊ ಈ ಲೆಸನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಓದೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ 4 ಲೆಸನ್ನಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಟೋಟಲಿ 28 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ರೀಡ್ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ 28 ಮಾರ್ಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ಗೆ 3 days 6 hours ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎವ್ರಿ 40 minutesಗೆ. ದೆನ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ 3 days 6 hours, ಲೈಟ್ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ 3 days 6 hours, ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆಸನ್ಗೆ 1 day 2 hours ಇಸ್ ಎನಫ್. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮಗೆ 10 days ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗ 40 days ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ 40 days ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 40 daysಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಿಮಗೆ 30 daysಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೊ 30 daysಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ದ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್, ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್, ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಬಯಾಲಜಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು 10 daysನ್ನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿತಿನ್ 30 days ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ದ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಓವರ್ 10 days ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಓವರ್ 10 daysನಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿವೈಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಿಂದಿನ ದಿನ ಖಂಡಿತ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಹೊಸ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಓದಬೇಡಿ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 3 days ಆಫ್ ಲೀವ್. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ 3 days ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ. ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ 3 days ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ 3 daysಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಆಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಹಿಂದಿನ 3 daysಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್, ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ದಿನವೂ ಕೂಡ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಐ ಬೆಟ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ 75 marks. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ 75 marksನ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ನಿಮಗಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ 5 marks ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ? ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಆಸ್ ದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್, ನೀವು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಒಂದು ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು MCQನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಲೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಯು ಮೇ ಗೆಟ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಆಫ್ 75 marks. 75 marksನ ನೀವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಫಾಲೋ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್. This timetable is designed for your 2021 examination, which has been starting from June 21st. June 21st ಇಂದ ಶುರುವಾಗುವಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ವರ್ಷ 10th ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರಾ, ಯು ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಲಕ್ಕಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿನ್ ಡಿಲೀಟೆಡ್. And you have still 40 days of time. You have a very good timetable in your hand. What else you need? So plan according to whatever I have told you. Prepare yourself to score good marks in the examination. Fine. I hope you like this video. If you find this video is very useful, kindly like and share maximum with your friends. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಒಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲನ್ನು ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಲೆಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್. Score better marks, reach high, reach your target. And I would also thank you each of the student who is motivating me to do the videos, because you are asking me to do that, these so many things. So ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದನೇ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತು ನಿಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ I am doing the videos. So once again I thank everyone.